Okay, welcome back. Today we're actually going to be doing something that I've been really excited to do for the past few weeks. And today we are going to install an IPS display in my Game Boy Advance SP. Been meaning to do this for a while, just haven't had time, so we're doing it today. I have a guide pulled up on my computer in front of me, just kind of instructing me on what I need to get done. So we'll be doing this together for the first time, and we will get started on it. So to get started, you're going to need your Game Boy Advance SP, obviously. You will also need an IPS display from a few different potential manufacturers. I will link two of them down below. Bought one from Handheld Legend. This is where I got the Game Boy Color one. Just bought them in the same bundle. So I will link two of them down below. You'll need this. You will also probably need either flush cut trimmers to trim the upper half of the case for the screen, because we're doing it again, or you will need a pre-cut Game Boy Advance SP shell, which you can also buy from either of the retailers below. And as an added tool you might need, if you want brightness control, you'll need a soldering iron just to solder this one wire. So put this off to the side. First step is to take apart the Game Boy SP. There are 4 screws on the bottom that are tri-wing. You take out these 4. There are 2 Phillips screws here, one right underneath the cartridge slot and one that holds the battery in place. And then underneath the battery, there is one other Phillips screw that can come right out. And with that taken off, then the back cover just slips away. No cables to have to worry about. Be mindful in case this falls out, just so that you can screw your battery cover back in later. So now you can see there's only 3 Phillips screws that are holding this motherboard in place. Let's take these 3 out real quick. Once those screws are out, lift up the motherboard gently, and you will see that there is a ribbon cable from the screen coming down. I'm gonna just unclip it with my fingers, and it'll come out from pressure, or if not, just grab it with a pair of tweezers and pull out. There's nothing else to do for the bottom half until we get the new screen in place. For now, what I would like to do is we're going to move on to the next step, actually, and that is not drop our buttons. We're going to take off the screen in the top half, and to do that, there is one screw, and I just keep dropping things today, huh? There is one screw underneath the ribbon cable, another small Phillips. Take this out, and you'll see that it popped out this little cover here, and this way we can get the ribbon cable out with ease. Then to take apart the top half where the screen is held, there are 5 screws underneath your rubber feet. Pop these out using something that won't tear them apart. I generally just use this pry tool, this spudger. Pop them out, and then it's 5 small tri-wing screws. Take these out, and then this will come apart in half. And with all 5 screws taken out, the front half will just fall away from the back half. So the back half comes away from the front half. We can work our ribbon cable out from the little slit that it has. And then the screen just lifts up and away. Set that off to the side, keep it as a spare part. What I want to do right now, while this is still somewhat apart, I'm going to take the back half, and I'm going to take our new screen and I'm going to plug it in just so that we can make sure that it works. You know, there's no point in continuing to do this if this thing arrived broken. So I know this is a little unorthodox of a way to do it, but put the battery in place. Use a speaker for sound. Okay, give me a few minutes to debug this and figure out why this isn't working. Okay, so I managed to fix it. I don't really know what was causing it. I did basically just have to reseat this cable back here. I think it was a little loose in its initial connection. So yeah, not entirely sure what it was, but I did notice that when aligning the cable here, the board that it sits on isn't flush with the screen. I don't know if it's a board problem, a cable problem, or just a, manufacturing defect, but it works, and I'm not really going to complain about it right now. If it causes problems with cutting the screen, then then it might be something to bring up, but for now it works. So now that the screen works, we can move on. I did have to skip a few steps ahead just to put this down in place, but we'll get to this part and I'll show you guys that. Now we have to move on to cutting the top half of the Game Boy Color, or the Game Boy SP. I've done a lot of these. So the guide I'm looking at recommends taking the hinges out so you have just the top half here, right? I'm going to not do that because taking these out is a pain. And if you are transplanting it into a already pre-cut shell, then you'll have to take these out. I did a video on the shell swap of this a couple weeks ago. You can take a look at that. I go through it, just how to pop these out and move them over to a new shell. I'm not going to do it here because I don't want to. Okay, so looking at a part, we will need to take out, yes, definitely some here on the left side. I can see that the screen board sticking out. That might cause some problems. Okay, but looking at it from here, we need to take out some on this side, trim that down, as well as I think that might just be it, actually. Let's just start with that. So we have, all right, to get this to sit flush, we need to take out some on the left side. So we're just gonna start with that for now. This is where your flush cutters come in. I know I mentioned when I did the Game Boy Color, when I did the Game Boy Advance one, I got some flack for doing a piss poor job of it, but we're doing it again anyways. But I'm gonna do a much better job this time. So. Okay, so we've trimmed the back half of the top housing, but I still notice that up here on the lower half where the screen sits, there's still some plastic in the way, so it's not sitting flush, right? So I'm gonna trim this away. I mean, the guide doesn't say to do it, but I'm seeing it. So I'm gonna trim this away real quick, and then we'll put it back together, make sure that it all sits flush, and we will proceed from there. Okay, so I trimmed off a little bit on the edges here, especially with this top half. I can't really say that the flush cut trimmers are the best tool for this job. If you've got like a Dremel with a grinding wheel on it, it probably would work better, but it works for now. So it sits nice and flush. I can open it up. You see it's sitting nice and pretty on there. I gotta take the screen protector off before we put this through. But the next step then would be to put the top half of this back on, which we can actually just check to make sure that it sits flush right now. I'll just ignore that for now. Okay, so like I said before, I think that board is causing some problems. Let me see what I can do about that, and I will let you know how to take care of it. Okay, so what I think I'm gonna do, something that doesn't show in the pictures in the guide, I'm gonna trim away this little lip here. You can see it. Basically, I'm gonna make this flush a little more. So I'm just gonna basically go like this, right? And what I think it'll do is it'll give us enough leeway to slip this on the top half, on the bottom half here. But this should, whatever I cut here should be hidden because it's gonna only flush with everything else so long as my cuts are straight and down to the right distance. I have also looped the wire through just to get it through so I can make sure that this stays nice and flush. So you'll take the ribbon cable, you'll bend it inwards to form one spiral and then slip it through the slit. I find that kind of like bending a little bit, then pushing it through on one end, and it comes right out on the other, and it'll sit just right in this little groove right here with the back half in place. So let's see if that cut did what we wanted it to. We are close, so it's almost sitting flush. I think I need to take out a little bit right here, and it should close down now. Nobody saw that. All right, yeah, look at that. Sitting nice and flush on all four sides. I guess I was wrong. A little bit of this did come out, but I think that's okay. Kind of goes along with the red and black. If I need a way to justify it. Okay, so now let's fold this open. Let's get some screws back in here. Okay, so I've screwed the top half together. I did unfortunately lose this rubber piece. I have no idea where it went. I checked my footage, I checked my trash can, I checked everywhere on my desk. Don't know where it went, so I'm hoping when I clean up after I'm done here, I can find it. Otherwise, I'll have to makeshift one out of the rubber that it came in. So, it sucks. Wait, yo, real quick, you'll never guess where I found the missing corner piece. It got stuck to the bottom of my case for my screwdriver. All right, bam. Now you'll never notice that it was changed. But the next step, we're almost done, is to put the motherboard in and then solder our brightness control. Okay, so now with all the buttons in place, we're just gonna do basically a standard, one of them seem to fit. Huh. I was like, oh man, why is it not working? Did I lose something? Nope, just had everything in the wrong spot. Was not looking into my wrist. So, now that everything's in place, you can just drop it down. Ooh, I'm sorry, I have this backwards. So, these might come flying out. What we want to do okay, so with some persuasion, we plug in the ribbon cable. Now you're gonna want to take your soldering iron, the wire that came with the kit, zoom out a little bit, and some solder, like so. We're going to need to solder the wire from we're going to solder the wire from this contact pad here on the ribbon cable to Q12B, which is right here. Is right here. Second pad from the top to the right of the D-pad. Solder those together with this wire, and that'll give us brightness control so that we can jump through the different settings. If you don't want to do that and you want to make this just an entirely solderless mod, you can do that as well. If you don't have one of these or you don't want to spend the few seconds to solder it, that is your choice. That's completely okay. You just won't be able to control the brightness level of the screen. So excuse me while I attempt to solder at an angle. I would actually recommend trimming this wire down. This is really long for this application. I'm actually going to do that. So I've trimmed down the wire and soldered it to pad Q12B. So we should be good to put the buttons back into place and then reassemble this, and we should be all set. And we can screw our motherboard back into place. We'll do this, give it a quick test, make sure that it's working, and then we will seal it up and we should be all done. All right, and brightness control seems to work. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 levels of brightness. That is a lot of brightness. Okay. Oh, and it remembers the level was on. That's cool. All right, let's finish this up. That is super cool to look at. Honestly, you would think that it looks like this out of the box, to be honest. So like I said, we have 10 levels of brightness. This does come with a glass screen protector on the front built in, so there's no worrying about putting the glass in and then the screen getting fingerprints on it. And it's got a nice high durability of scratch resistance. So this was bought from Handheld Legend. You can also get some from Funny Playing directly or a place called Retro Modding. I will link those down in the description below, as well as the screwdriver set that I use basically every video that I've ever posted here. But yeah, this is super cool to look at. I'm really happy with it, and this is how I intend on playing my Game Boy games from now on, as opposed to just the Game Boy Advance. You see it's been in some dust lately. So I really like it. I hope you all enjoyed, and I hope you learned something from it. You can hear that my cat is enjoying it. So I hope you learned something, and if you have any questions or anything, let me know in the comments below, and I'll be sure to answer them as best as I can. So thanks for watching, and come by next time.